broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I love doing hip hop to this song, like crumping.
Like, oh
yeah, like
twerking.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Hey everyone, what's up? I'm your host Jade Howard, and we just finished watching Fanatic for Stalker on CBS, and my lovely other host.
I'm Teresa Law.
Hey everyone, I'm Anastacia Waller.
And I'm Cameron Lewis.
So, first impressions. What were your guys' thoughts on this episode?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'll go first.
Ladies first, Cameron. Ladies first.
Well, in that case, I thought it was a great. No.
Well, I was really excited to watch this episode because it had my favorite actress, Anna Lynn McCord, one of my favorites. I was a huge fan of hers from Nip Tuck and then also 90210. I thought it was a great episode and also interesting because this episode is kind of what I thought the series was going to be about, more celebrity stalking, because that seems what's really prevalent in LA. So thought it was great.
Gave you that Hollywood twist that you've been waiting for.
Yes.
Yeah, I was happy with it. I was happy to see the Hollywood twist, the acting, the celeb stalkers, and I also really liked the person being stalked this time. She wasn't like a helpless victim.
Yeah, she was prepared in every
situation. She was pretty badass.
She was. She had pepper spray. She had a couple little moves and a panic room.
So I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy about that. What about you guys? What do you think?
I felt like CBS was trying to teach us a lesson about social media and privacy. I think we learned a lot of good tips. I mean, we brushed upon those tips on previous episodes. You know, don't tweet your whereabouts until you leave. And I think it's a really, interesting topic to get into, celebrities and social media. How much should you share? Because you should be active on social to promote yourself, but there's also a fine line.
Yeah. Definitely a fine line. I think for me, my first impression was just, I need to become more successal in my life so I can afford a panic room.
I know.
I mean, how cool was that?
That was pretty fancy.
It was a nice panic room. I wish if I had a panic room, I definitely would have like a mini bar or something in there.
Yeah.
Who knows how long you're going to be in that panic room for? She had a TV.
And that was it.
And that was
special
it.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, a special little Wi-Fi.
Get some Netflix in there or something.
Yeah, but it was cool to see, like you said, like the Hollywood twist of things. I think they said before that most stalking cases are 10% involve celebrities. So I like that it seems like you're getting like that small percentage of them covering that Hollywood life. Yeah. So that way, because it already takes place in LA, so it's like how much more LA is this gonna get if it was celebrities every single episode?
Yeah,
but it was fun to have Anna as a guest star and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was nice to see her back on TV.
Yeah, where's she been, Anastacia?
She's I don't know. I think she's had smaller guest
You
roles.
are like her biggest fan, and you don't know what she's
you guys aren't friends in real life, don't worry.
I mean, we might be. Or it could be her stalker.
A delusional friendship.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I was really happy to see more of Perry this week too.
You were?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I was. Well,
Gotta add that.
No, he's always
Teresa and Anastacia. This is something. If
So
you guys are watching, listening right now, tweet us. You can tweet AfterBuzz TV. Use the hashtag Stalker. Tell us what you think of Perry being shirtless, because everybody in the room but me is a pretty big fan of it.
I don't know about Jade. I pointed out you didn't seem very interested.
I wasn't very amused. I think he has a six-pack because he doesn't eat. You're right. Like he's on a salad and treadmill diet.
Yeah, he has some arm tone.
Teresa has thought about this a little bit.
There's a muscle tone in the arm. I saw it, Teresa.
Yeah, he works
I'm
out.
with you.
Yeah, from lifting like his high gear.
Yeah, from lifting kale.
Yeah, from lifting his kale and Beth's security
See the way I
code.
lift my kale, you think this is
Perry haters.
Perry haters.
The other thing that I thought was interesting about this episode was the idea of super fans. The first girl that we see, Heather, that gets interviewed, because it seems like that's also getting more popular, being super fans of shows, like super fans of Breaking Bad and super fans of House of Cards. It's binge watching shows. So I thought that was interesting too, that they kind of highlighted how that guy was such a super fan, how Heather was all into the details, and even Mariana, who we had last week, she was into the show as well.
Right, and nowadays fans have such, access to talent through social media that I could see a lot of fans just forming these like fictional relationships with them.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So let's get into Nina's character, played by Anna Lynn McCord, who, when she starts off with her sister leaving the house, Emily, and she gets in the hot tub and is like practicing a script, which was like so cliche.
So Hollywood.
It was so Hollywood.
As, I think it was either Teresa or Jade that pointed out it was an actress playing an actress.
Right, it was like an actress
like,
playing an
man.
actress. How do you prepare for such a role? Like
Yeah. An actress playing an actress who's getting ready to
play an actress?
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be cool.
Possibly.
That's awesome. I like the way you're thinking today, Cam.
ooh.
We're kind of on the same page.
I'm feeling a vibe here, Jade.
I am. Why
An
did we sit so?
anti-Perry shirtless vibe.
Yes, we are divided.
Yeah.
I know, we're
It's the
Team
vision.
Perry. You guys are anti-Perry.
Exactly. So let's see. So she's chilling. All of a sudden, like, this nice music comes on,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Emily, I wish we had a counter for how many times she said Emily." Emily.
Like, I'm sorry, Nina. She ain't there.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because she's been stalked before, so she's really cautious.
But now it's like I'm really bringing attention to everywhere I'm going in the house. Follow my voice as I scream out Emily every single time. So then it's like every time, like when she's walking through the house, she like opens up the oven and there's lasagna and it's like she's like, and then she looks and sees on the table
And it's
that
romantic.
It's romantic and there's wine and she's
I think
like,
that's when she starts to question herself, because why would Emily, her sister, be preparing a romantic dinner?
You weren't gonna question the lasagna. You didn't see Emily making lasagna before she left. So who put this lasagna in my oven? Like I would be freaking out before the candlelights. I feel like the candlelights, I go, oh, that's nice. Wait, I didn't make lasagna.
And I think
And Emily's not around.
Once she figured it out, like you said, I think she started walking towards the panic room.
Yes, you're right.
I wish that she would have said that out loud, Jade. Who put this lasagna in my oven?
I know.
Oh my God. Emily, was this you?
Yeah, Emily.
Am I the only one that thinks that rose petals, like all over the place, is actually kind of freaking creepy?
It depends on the context.
I don't know.
But after I saw lasagna that I did not put in my oven, yes, I'm going to start to think it's creepy.
Get the music
I was
playing.
thinking about stains. I was like, oh my gosh, those rose petals are going to stain the white.
And it was like a nice thread cotton. It was like Egyptian or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't like.
What was the thread count, Jade?
Okay, I'm gonna go for 900.
So after lasagna, after
Rose petals,
after seeing the dinner, what happens?
She did not stop to make herself a plate. She said
did
she's
not.
going towards the panic room, and then there's this guy in the hallway. And he's got
wearing a mask.
It's called a burn victim mask.
Yeah.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Cam, we are just really just little two peas in a
my
pod
God.
today, aren't we?
Jinx, you owe me a lasagna.
I owe you lasagna. I don't know how to make lasagna.
Oh, that mask.
Stofers,
though,
nothing comes closer to
That
home.
mask,
So.
so creepy.
Oh,
like a
my
ski
gosh.
mask is creepy enough, but the burn victim mask, I mean, that's really scary looking. It's
That's
really,
scarier
really
than the
scary
scream
looking.
mask.
That's what I've been
Yeah.
asked. Which
You think he was
scarier.
Matthew was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna hit him with a different type of mask because I know this one's
Maybe.
a little played out.
Say
So-
Matthew?
Kevin.
Wait, is Matthew like an ex or something? Is that what we digging into your past? Did Matthew cook you the lasagna?
Hey guys, hey, I thought we were a team. Now we are no longer two peas in a pod. We
well.
are pea soup, split pea soup right
Oh,
now.
God.
I took it there.
Jade.
Hey, you hurt my
So
feelings.
after we see creepy guy in a mask, he
Chases her.
chases her. Panic room. Awesome. This is when I already love this girl. because she has the panic room, because she's prepared.
Yeah.
And she had some stalkers in the past too, I think.
Yeah,
so
we
that
find
probably
out.
prepared her.
Lots of stalkers, huge fans. Like they said, she had like 2 million followers on Twitter and then more on Instagram. I was like, check you out, aren't you cool?
And she's had 4 stalkers in 3 years.
But one thing that I wish that they went over was how the man got into the house, because I don't know if you guys saw that movie Bling Ring about those kids that broke in. So I was thinking of that because that also seems really popular with celebrities, people breaking into the houses. So I wish they kind of would have highlighted, hey, these are the precautions you should take for our future homes, of course, when we move into the Hollywood Hills.
And you would think it's a high security house given that she's been stalked before.
So how are these people breking into these celebrity homes? I wish they kind of would have showed that more.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Kevin?
Matthew.
Matthew.
Sorry, Kevin. We're still cool, right? Okay, so she ends up at the, what happens next?
Well, they investigate the case. Jack
and Beth
peeking around.
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
And their first suspect was Heather Miller, who had stalked her in the past and has been released. She was delusional and violent in the past, but now she's, I guess, back to normal. So they,
No, I wouldn't say she's back to normal. I just think she probably just didn't want to go back to where they sent her.
She seemed to just really be a fan of the show and the character more than obsessed with trying to get to know Nina.
You know, when I was watching that, and I was thinking about, you said that there was 4 stalkers in the past. How many?
In the 3 years.
In 3 years. My question, I wish Mariana Clavina, who was here last week, could be with us this week, because I want to ask her, like, how do you know the difference between a stalker and a superfan? Like, how do you draw that line? Because I feel like some people will go really far. I mean, we are doing AfterBuzz TV, and we have people tweet us constantly about the show, which is great because you're being involved. But it's like, how do you tell if they're just really enthusiastic or if they're being super creepy? Like, how do you draw that line? I don't know.
Right.
Can you?
I mean, if you show up at someone's house.
That's like, if you show up
I
at the
think we
house,
can
that's
pretty
a little
much
different.
conclude that, like, I didn't invite you over. You have lasagna in my oven.
Yeah. But putting lasagna in somebody else's oven is definitely a violation.
One of the super fans shows up at every press event.
Right.
In support.
Right. This is what I'm saying. So I don't know. It's weird.
I think the line also is harassing versus stalking, because some of that stuff could just be considered harassment.
Yeah, so people are totally harmless. So you go to every press event. That's what you want. Like when you become irrelevant, then
I think when you're making threats or you get violent
or you're showing up in my house and there's lasagna, and I keep going back to that, but I'm telling you, that's when I know that something is wrong. That's when I draw the line.
Trespassing.
Yeah.
Trespassing. Yeah, that's true.
And violating, I think, when you're not in a professional space or, you know, that's when I think it's not the right circumstances. Right. And if you're at a press event and you want a picture, great, you go home and you tweet about it, awesome.
Right.
But like if you go home and that person's also like standing outside your house, and then, you know,
like going to your
this
garbage.
can't be good. Right.
Yeah. That's
so
not a
the
good
detectives pretty much write her off because they deem her as a super fan.
Right. Exactly.
And around this time, we also were introduced to Emily, the sister. This is when we first meet
just
Emily.
to interject, also because she wasn't romantic, like trying to romance her Nina either. She was more interested in being her friend. Yeah. And so the actions that they saw was more on something that was, if it was obvious that it was more of like a sexual attraction type of intentions going on more than it was.
Did you guys believe her when she said that?
It seemed questionable.
Yeah.
What? Believe what?
She's a little off the rockers.
That she was just a super fan? That she was just wanted to be her friend?
I think the way she defined super fan is probably a little different. I think she was a stalker.
Yeah, that was my feeling too.
Yeah, if we're gonna like meet halfway, she was definitely a super stalker.
But a harmless one.
But a weird, like harmless stalker, which I didn't think existed.
She was just weird.
Yeah. As my grandmother would say, bless her heart. Yeah. So, moving on. So they move on to investigating again for somebody else because they know they don't have the right person.
Yes. And they talk to her sister.
Right. There's her sister,
Emily.
And you kind of start to notice a little something different in the looks department. You're like, okay, this looks, I sensed it. It was like, oh, this looks like this might be a jealous sister is up to, she's done something that she shouldn't have done. Because even when they talked to her, she didn't seem concerned, like in a caring way. It was more like, oh, I'm just going to talk to you guys.
There was some bitterness there. You can sense that right away.
Yeah, I think a good rule of thumb, and I'm starting to notice this with people, is if they brush things off really lightly, including not only their involvement, but including the case itself, it's pretty suspect. You know, that's the people we should start looking at. Like Emily was early on, she was like, oh, no, yeah, it's fine. She seemed like a fan, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, you're her sister, so shouldn't you be more concerned about what's happening?
Yeah.
I think in every episode, there's a suspect that's really obvious.
Yeah.
And in this episode, it was the sister. So I knew that it couldn't be her, but
her
that we'd be led to think that.
But her sister, okay, let's not put Emily, her sister Emily, because she said her name like 10 times. Emily. Like, she definitely was still not being a good sister. At all, because it turns out that she had she would leak information to the paparazzi of her sister's whereabouts and get a cut of the money, and then
10%.
And then you cut to her telling him, okay, if you live in Ohio, there's nothing against living in Ohio. But she was like, I left my life in Ohio to come live in sunny LA.
I gave up everything in Ohio.
Yeah, what did you tweet?
Said nobody ever.
Right, nobody ever.
And again, we love you.
We love you, Ohio. No, it's nothing against Ohio. But like, it was just so funny when she's like, I gave up my life in Ohio, and we all looked around like,
yeah, but definitely the jealous sister type. Definitely, she said that her sister was the one that's good at everything.
Right.
And so that's where the motivation came from.
I think that happens a lot in sibling relationships.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with a sibling. I have a sister who lives in Ohio.
Okay, well, something happens to you and she drops her life to come live with you. Just know something's going to go down.
Yeah.
It's the Ohio way.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
But I always feel like there's a superstar, because I have a lot of friends. I have siblings, of course. I always feel like there's a superstar in the
family.
sibling. Is that true, Teresa? Are you the superstar?
I wouldn't call myself a superstar.
I would call myself one.
Well,
I'm an only child.
well, there you go. That's fine.
Cameron?
No.
So I'm the only superstar out of everyone?
You're the
You're an
only
only child, so.
Teresa and Cameron are the Emilys. Just kidding.
Emily, by the way, is played by Heather Matarazzo. Hope I'm saying that right. And she was in Welcome to the Dollhouse and
In the
several
Princess
other
I thought she looked
in the
familiar.
Princess Diaries.
You know that.
Wait, who was she in the Princess Diaries?
She plays, why can't I think of,
Blanking.
she plays the best friend.
Is anybody
Okay,
else
I
more
remember.
curious than I am about why Cam knows that? Were you a fan of Princess Diaries?
Yeah. I don't have any secrets, Jade.
It's fine. No, it's cool. Hey, don't have that tone with me. I've already split you from the
guys
pod.
are not
Wow.
on the
Okay.
same wavelength
So
anymore.
next,
No, complete opposites now.
What do we find out next?
I'm like,
you
moving
guys?
on.
We find out that Emily, where were we at?
She was
sold
selling
the
the
pictures.
stuff.
She was selling the pictures to the paparazzi. And then we cut to, we don't see the face yet, but her stalker is in the garage watching one of the episodes.
Savage Shore.
Savage
which was
Shore.
a television show that Nina was a star in.
Yes.
Another good name. Savage Shore.
And he has on the burn victim mask while he's watching the show. Creepy.
And he's watching a particular scene.
Right. And he's like, the guy's like beating the other, like somebody with a
You got it.
Tire iron.
tire
So we see a
iron.
clip from
It's
the show,
not
yeah.
called a, what did I think it was called?
I don't remember.
It wasn't what I thought it was.
No, a flank steak or something. I don't remember what you said.
Ooh, steak.
But yeah, so we see the scene from Savage Shores where somebody's beating somebody else up with the tire iron, and this guy in his garage / shed / apartment. It was very weird.
I think it was like his toy room.
Maybe his toy room. He takes a tire iron to a punching bag and starts
just
beating the crap out of it.
Reenacting the
it.
scene.
So he's role playing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then you have Nina and Emily are arguing about like, how could you do this to me? You're a horrible sister. And she's like, I gave
Yeah.
up my life in Ohio for you.
Yeah.
That's my
pretty good.
acting.
That's
Thank
pretty
you. That's
good.
my scene. That was our scene reenactment.
Pretty good.
And going
you.
back to Savage Shore, that whole storyline.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good thing to bring up.
Paul is the boyfriend of Nina's character, and so the stalker, or the guy that's in the mask, is the one that comes into the picture to sort of save the day.
So yeah, she falls in love. It's like a Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she falls in love with him, and so I guess the other guy was like confronting him, like, I'm the better one for you, and he tries to like beat up the guy in the burn victim mask.
I love that we're doing the Savage Shore after show on the Stalker after show.
Well, it's just like how she was playing an actress playing an actress.
Right.
Do you not see the
And we're
juxtaposition?
hosts
Absolutely.
playing hosts.
We oh my
Absolutely.
gosh, this is crazy.
So after all this happens, Emily actually, or somebody who tells Nina that Emily was the one selling the photos, or do we just?
I think she confessed.
They traced it.
They traced it, and I think the detectives were like, "Hey, your sister's a little on the
But
shady side."
Emily was the one who confessed to Nina when they
That's
were
right,
in the
okay,
room.
yeah.
She told her,
Okay.
"Hey, it was." I think she just felt so guilty. She had to get it off her chest.
And so obviously there was a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a tiff.
Oh yeah, how would you feel? I mean, as an only child, I wouldn't know, but how would you guys feel if like?
Well, I just want to say that I think that celebrities tip paparazzi a lot I times.
Right.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
so-
In Emily's defense, she did say, "I did this for her PR as well."
Yeah, I don't know. I would kind of respond the same way, and then eventually get over it too. I think,
Right.
Because I'd be kind of mad if anybody, let alone somebody that I was close to or one of my relatives, was selling photographs of me. Like that's a little, or selling information about me. That just seems a little off. Like if I got a text message from Anastacia, it was like, "P.S. Cameron sold a picture to TMZ today." I'd be like, "What?"
Where's my cut?
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
But I think I would
there-
have a similar response
Wasn't
to
there a
it.
similar situation with Dane Cook and his brother, where his brother was embezzling from Dane Cook? I think his brother was like a finance manager.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, apparently not a very good one.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So she gets upset with the sis, and she's like, "Oh, how dare you, la la." And so that was my way of them like, that's Emily storming out and leaving. And so she
course.
goes in her car, which I love because it's a Prius, which is like so LA.
Yeah.
And she has a flat tire, and so this strange guy in an old Jeep comes up and is like, "Hey,
Hey,
you need help with that?"
Need a little jump
Yeah,
there.
yeah. He was
Need a
like, "Do you
little
need
help.
a little help? Do you need a little help?" And she's like, "No, it's okay."
Tow truck will take an hour to get here. so-
Yeah, yeah, and she's like, no, it's like totally fine. Like, I'll
Sweating
just call.
crazy.
She's like, I'll call AAA, and then he's like, oh, but they'll take so long.
Yeah, it'll take
And
an
then she's like,
hour.
"Where are you from? Where do you
Yeah,
live?"
and
He's like
I-
Calabasas. So
he's like, I can do it, and he like pulls out the little tire wrench. Is it tire wrench?
tire iron, but yeah, it's the same thing. Flank steak.
Flank steak.
Yeah,
he
he
pulls
pulls
out
it
a
out.
flank steak, and he's like, how would you like this, medium well or well done?
Oh, I love it.
Boom, 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 ching. No. And so he's like, I can do this for you. I'm going to fix this. And she's like, cool, thanks. And then he's like, oh, so are you at Nina's house? And
Yeah.
she's like, excuse me, come again?
Yeah, she's like, I don't think so.
Like, no. Like, he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I see. You can't answer because you have to be, it's like starting to get creepy. And then I think
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
she gets on her phone, I think probably to warn her sister, like, hey, like,
He's like, "You shouldn't do that.
get in that really awesome panic room.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, like you said, don't touch that dial.
Don't do it.
And then he like starts to chase her and attacks her.
Yeah, so she gets in. This is something I have an issue with. Okay, and I'm going to warn everybody listening right now. If your car is broken down, if you have a flat tire, and somebody's chasing after you, do not go into the stalled car. Don't
Agreed.
trap yourself even further. Keep
Yeah.
running.
It's like
because
running
she
up the
goes-
stairs when someone breaks into your house.
Right,
Go
you're
upstairs.
literally trapping yourself.
That's a good idea. I never
So-
thought about that. Unless you have a panic room in your bedroom.
Yes.
But it's like asking the guy to come in the panic room with her. That's basically what she was doing because she's trapping herself in a car. He breaks the window in. It's like, well, where do you go now?
I feel like if I were in that situation, I'd be so freaked out. I couldn't even
That's-
think clearly. That I'd just be
This
like,
is
I
why
need to
we
get
have
away.
to get it in your head now,
I
Teresa.
know.
Go
So
in
that-
your trunk, if anything.
Yeah, go seriously. Yeah.
So they
Right,
can't break
I'm
the
gonna write
window.
this
Just
down.
go in your trunk.
Teresa's like, oh no, something's happening. Let me pull up my notes.
I
What
don't
did I
know.
write on my phone?
Checklist.
Oh
And so she gets in the car, he chases her, you know, and they have a little tussle, and then she gets away from him, and then she gets hit by a car, which actually saved her life.
Yeah.
Who would have known I got hit by a car, and that's what saved me, because he runs, you know, he leaves.
Right.
She's in the hospital, she's able to give a sketch to the sketch artist, and then they narrow down, you know, who could have been someone in that area, and they trace it to someone that's in El Segundo, and so
Sketchy.
right. What is it with El Segundo? I
don't know.
So sketchy. And so they trace it, and so they go to, what was his name?
Robert. 33-year-old
Dalton.
Robert.
Right.
Dalton.
And they go, and we see that he lives at home with a very protective mom who cuts the crust off of his favorite breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah.
First, I thought it was husband and wife.
I did too.
I didn't know if they intentionally wanted us to think that.
And that's what made it even more strange.
And as soon as he walked
that's your
out.
mom.
Yeah, because it was like, I thought you were working late tonight or something. She said something like that. I was like, oh my God.
But then when she's like, don't take that tone with me, I'm like, that sounds very familiar. Something that my mom would say to me if that tone went a little too high.
Right.
And it was like, don't you dare.
Yeah. So
so-
that's definitely what they wanted us to think, though. I think you're right.
Yeah. But I think that was just to show how strange of a relationship they have.
Yeah.
And so she's in denial. Oh, my son, you know, would never. He's a good boy.
And at that point, though, we
Nancy.
also, that last scene that we were just on, we saw that he hid the medicine, but he wasn't taking the medicine
He wasn't taking his
anymore.
meds.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
His antipsychotic meds.
Right, which made him be psychotic when he didn't take them.
Surprise!
Oh my gosh! Wasn't expecting that to happen.
Here's a tip. If you want to make sure somebody takes their meds, bake it into some lasagna. They'll get it in. It'll be so easy.
Know.
So easy.
Never will they know. And so they go into
His creepy shed
his toy
slash
room.
apartment.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And that's where they see the stuff. They see the mask.
And they see like the cutout board of Nina
Magazine.
And they see her Twitter page.
right? And so now, and so they're able to actually track, you know, or he was able to monitor like where she was, so he knew she was at the hospital. What is she like using Foursquare too?
Yeah, apparently.
Is she like geotagging everything?
She's checking in on Yelp.
I have stalkers, but hey, I've just checked in. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a good idea.
No.
Not when you have 3 million Twitter followers.
Yeah.
No, it's
yeah.
super,
It's
super
like
strange.
saying where you live on a talk show.
Right.
It's not a good idea.
And so guess who follows her to the hospital where she is to console her sister?
Robert, Robbie.
Thank you. Ding, ding, ding. And the $1 million award goes to Anastacia. Oh, gosh. You guys watching this episode with me or
I
not?
thought it was a trick question, to be honest.
Oh, no, I'm not that deep.
So we see him in the elevator.
Right.
Well, and also at that point, she had security with her.
No, her publicist.
That was her publicist.
Okay.
Because he was checking his phone.
Right.
And then when they were in the elevator situation, he clearly couldn't defend her.
Right. And so she is in the elevator with him, and he's like, hey, like, get away from her. And he's like, you get away. She's mine. We love each other. We have this connection. Then they get a little tussle. He knocks him out. So now she's in this elevator by herself. Huh?
I like how petty that argument was at first. Like, get away. No, you.
No, you get
It's
away.
like, how about you at that point step in front of her, make sure it's not about to head south, you know?
Right.
He's just
Yeah.
kind of like, sorry, I'm finishing this tweet. Can you please step away?
Yeah.
You know, it was very.
It was a very publicist thing to do. With all respect to all of our publicists
Get
of
a
the
bad
country.
rap.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
That was a good scene because it highlighted how prepared she was for the stalker. That's when she
Yes.
had
Right.
pepper
Her
spray.
mace.
And she's and she maced
love
his
Nina.
eyes, and she got out that elevator and to safety. And then with the mom though, we find out they bring him in for questioning. They're like, all right, we know it's you. And he's like,
Yeah.
well, we're in love and we're gonna be together. And he's like naming things that are so specific of conversations they had, and you're like, wow, you're really like, he's more delusional than we thought he
Right.
was.
He thought Nina was actually writing him back.
Yeah, and he's like, from the email she sent me, and they're like, Nina ain't writing you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it turns out, though, that they realized she was, but it wasn't Nina.
No, he was
It was
catfished by his own mom.
Dun, dun, dun.
Twist.
insane and freaking weird. So his mom was doing it because she wanted to
Mama
protect
Nancy.
his feelings so he wouldn't feel rejected, but instead she actually was the one that was fueling the fire for him to even become this obsessive over her.
would you say that the mom then, Mama Nancy, can we call her Mama Nancy?
Okay, you can.
Was Mama Nancy stalking her son?
Ooh, you're so
that-
right.
Well, she was protective, so she was just being nosy. You know, parents can't
Yeah, I don't
stalk; they just
know.
get to be
But
nosy.
you
Like
got-
if you're like, you went through my phone, and they're just like, I'm just trying to protect you.
You gotta
Jack
draw the
is
line.
stalking his son.
Jack
So
stalking
parents
his
can
son.
stalk.
Parents
Is
can
Mama
stalk.
Nancy stalking her son?
It's acceptable stalking when it comes from a parent.
Except when your mom is fueling.
Yeah,
Right. So that's where it becomes a little weird.
That's
when
when
you're
it's like,
feeling delusion, then
Nancy,
no.
you crossed the line.
Well, Nancy was on the other side of the line herself.
Right. Yeah, she wasn't. Nan,
Well,
bless
she
her
had a whole
heart.
history too.
Right. Apparently, she they really ran her record, and they saw that she had tried to assault a kid that
Red
posed a
alert.
threat to her son with a knife on the playground. Like, how old was this kid? Like
Yeah.
8. So she ended up having to do counseling, but it was on her record. So at least they knew, okay, we've got a problem here.
Right.
The mom went on a studio tour that same day.
Yeah.
Where Nina is, and they're just like, we gotta get there.
Yeah.
So they do not get there in the nick of time. I love that during that scene, we know that she's got this stalker. Worst staff or crew ever. Like, just one security guard walks with you to your dressing room, and it's like the Nancy, she stabs the security guard.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. We all knew this lady was crazy, and we all knew, okay, she's gonna go after Nina. She's gonna follow her onto the studio. She's gonna go into her trailer or something. And I thought maybe she's gonna like push aside the security guard. Well, why couldn't she
straight up.
tell the security guard she was with wardrobe? No,
She
she's
stabbed him.
Stabby
Stabbed
stabs.
him.
And
I
I'm
was so
thinking,
shocked
like,
That was
by
wait,
unexpected.
but that was your bodyguard. You had one job, sir, and that was to protect Nina.
I didn't think she was on that level of crazy.
I didn't
at
either.
that
That's what I'm
No.
saying.
You
Like,
didn't?
I
no.
didn't.
No, she could
She
have
cut-
killed him.
I'm sorry. She cut a grown man's crust off of his favorite breakfast sandwich. You didn't think that she was capable of doing something a little weird? Come on, guys.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. My
Mama.
mom does that. No.
Mama Nancy.
Teresa.
Oh,
Mama Nancy.
no,
If I
all
asked.
respect. She would.
If I asked. But I wouldn't ask.
I'm gonna try that on my mom next time I say, "Mom, can
Your
you
mom
cut
would
the-"
do it.
No, she. I'm gonna
Oh
let
my
you know.
gosh.
If you're really sick in bed and you want to
Yeah.
test off, I think your mom would do it.
I think the real
Anyways.
question is,
I hope she would, but I doubt she would. I'm just picturing it all in my head. Or like, you want to
did
do
it
what?
surprise you guys when Mom and Nancy went in the trailer and said she was from wardrobe? Do you think that Nina should have trusted her blindly?
I don't think she should have, because did you see what Nancy had on?
That is a very valid
Wait,
point.
what did she have on? Oh, she was
Not-
Frumpy mom
Blood.
outfit.
She had mom khakis on, her mom jeans.
I mean, in
she's very
Nina's-
disarming looking. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
she did
also
not
in-
look like she was from wardrobe.
Yeah. In Nina's defense, just being on the lot, I think you would expect. I mean, there's security all over the lot, so I
Yeah.
don't think she was expecting.
She was like, "Where's Sophia?" or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh."
And she was a
around.
woman too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
And she was a mom.
And at that point, she thought her stalker was already, taken care of.
Right.
So she probably let
Oh,
her guard
that's
down a little
right.
bit
That's
more.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
She's like, "I got
That makes more
security
sense.
outside."
But I
Yeah.
like that she thought of the hot tea to
Yeah, that
grab
was
the hot
clever.
tea. That was
Oh,
so
yes,
smart.
right.
This is what I'm saying. Nina's on top of it.
Yeah.
You have to be.
Like, she's
Appar-
not letting it
Hey,
happen.
Emily's not around when she's screaming her name. She's got to go to the panic group on her own. Her panic room. Her publicist is no help at all. She's got to
Right.
get pepper. She's learned right.
learned to
She knows what
defend
she
for
needs to
herself.
do.
Absolutely.
And so, like, I love that confrontation that they had in the dressing room. And she's like, "How dare you hurt my son's feelings? And I can see why he liked you, but you look better on camera
yeah.
than you do off." And then she was like, "Hold on, something ain't right here.
Yeah.
Who are you again?"
Yeah.
Like, you don't just go insulting me like that.
Right.
Like, that was
Not an actress. That's like
Yeah.
getting below the
Oh,
belt.
way below the belt. But her reaction was like, "Excuse you?" Like, "Wait, who are you again?" And so then they go on like this like cat and mouse chase throughout the studio, and it's great because who comes to save the day?
Jack and
Jack and
Beth.
This is not a trick question, Cameron.
Well, obviously Beth gets real.
Emily.
This is what I thought that was a trick question.
Emily finally showed up.
Of course, Jack and Beth are going to come and save
Yeah.
the day. It's not going to be like
Perry.
Perry. Yeah, Perry.
Perry showed up.
And you'll never believe who came. It was Tom Cruise. Was happy to be on the lot that day, shooting the new Mission Impossible.
Well, that's how you know it wasn't a trick question. It's the most obvious. Jack and Beth.
Jack and Beth. Come to the rescue.
Angelina Jolie.
We started off on like one accord, you and me.
I know.
What happened to us?
Zoning back in on the anti-Perry.
It was actually Beth that actually got her at the end, right?
Yeah, she did. She tackled her.
Yes.
She
I love
tackled
that.
her.
Right as she was about to
Great.
stab.
Beth gets real.
Good on Beth.
Beth gets real.
Hashtag Beth gets real. But yeah, I love Beth. Love me some Beth.
We know.
And what do we see with Beth?
We learn about her Beth's backstory.
Yeah, no, we do. We really see when the sisters reunite because Emily comes. Okay, that was interesting. Okay, so Emily's in the hospital, but she was, I guess, cool to go. So, like, someone was like, "Hey,
clear.
come to set. Really, your sister's in grave danger." And then she's like, "Take out these IVs. Here I come." I'm like, I don't know. You just got hit by a car.
Right.
I know. We've got to speed things up for, right.
Yeah.
It was a little sus. But anyway, so you see them have like this beautiful sister bonding moment. And you see Beth, watching in the background, and you see her get teary-eyed. Yeah.
It's the first time we really see her let her guard down.
And
Absolutely.
then we see Jack looking at her like, hold on.
What's going on?
Do I spy emotion?
Right.
What's going on here?
And remember early on in the episode, he noticed the card that she got.
Right. Which leads us now to Patty.
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 Should we remind folks to subscribe to
Not
the
yet.
thingy? Okay. All right. So Perry.
But we
Patty,
can now
Patty.
that you mentioned it.
Sorry.
It's okay. You can take it away, Cam. Take it away.
No, after you.
What were we gonna say anyways? Was like tell them to subscribe to
If
iTunes.
they want to stalk us, they can do it in iTunes.
Right, on iTunes, and then maybe give us 5 stars, and YouTube,
Absolutely.
AFTERBUZZ TV. Go for a stalker. Comment, subscribe, like. We want comments because we read them, and we want to hear what you have to say about the episode and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and they'll pop up on your phone and everything.
We had a fan
Fancy.
today tweet that they were going to go on iTunes, subscribe, and give us 5 stars.
She said 5 stars.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
I feel like we
Right.
asked for 10, but we'll take 5.
5.
Because 5 is the highest anyway, so thank you so much. Now, Perry.
Perry and Beth's friend, whose name I'm blanking on.
Lisa? Is it Lisa?
Don't
What's her
ask
name?
me.
I've just called
forgot her
her. I just call her friendly
I
British
called her
lady.
Blossom. For some reason, she reminds me of
Blossom?
Blossom. The character Blossom.
Okay. Yeah.
Has the hippie hair. I don't know
Someone
what
will
it was.
comment and correct it.
Yeah, someone
know,
is
yeah.
going, please call. Hey, that thing we said about comments, we meant that.
Absolutely.
So, best friend.
They're having a really light and fun relationship.
Yeah, and she's like, it's just fun. He's young, and I'm just enjoying my life. And she's like, okay, just keep it that way. That's what Beth kept saying. And so we have this scene where she's getting ready to get it. She gets in the shower and Perry is like, before that, he's like, let's go on a date. You know, like. And so she leaves to go take a shower. And what does he do? He goes to her through her phone.
Right, because he spied on her when she was putting in her passcode. So he got that down. He gets into her phone.
Wait, but before that, the face he makes
Yeah.
when she
Good at those
leaves,
faces.
Yeah.
it was like a.
He gets into
He's
creepy
like,
mode.
okay.
That was probably his audition.
And it was like,
just make faces.
can you be creepy? And he's like,
Yeah.
give me
Yeah.
creepy blue steel.
That sums it up. It is a creepy
But give me your creepy. Go look in the
He
camera.
didn't even have to say any lines. He just had to do the looks.
Cameron, give me your creepy blue steel. Look at the
I
camera.
don't
and do
even
it.
know.
Anastacia, go.
No, I
Cameron, do it. Just go, Teresa, go. Okay, so, so he gets into the phone.
And then he
Pulls
finds
up Beth's
Yeah, that's what
contact
happens.
info.
Yeah. Okay. Security code in the info. I don't know if I buy that.
Well, she had a lock on her phone.
I know, but even then, it's
And
like
she probably was Beth's housekeeper when Beth would leave out of town.
it's like putting
Right.
it's like putting your social security number in your notes section and labeling it social security number.
Oh, you don't do that?
No.
So you think it would have been okay if it was
one moment,
discreetly
guys.
like 4 numbers?
Yeah, if it was just 4 numbers on there, I would have bought that.
Yeah.
But it said security. It said
said
security
alarm code.
It said alarm code.
It's very specific.
Not a good idea. not a good idea.
True.
It's some people might do that. I'm just saying.
No, people do
don't
that, and
it.
I think that was actually a good point that they show is, hey, you never
do
know. That wasn't because you're
Don't do
thinking like
that.
that's not smart, and I'm thinking I've got some things to change in my phone after this episode.
Right.
after we
We need to create a
this.
list of all the tips that we've learned from the show.
No.
That's a good idea.
Who's going to do
running
that
tally.
list?
I'll compile it.
Will you?
If you bake me lasagna,
Ooh.
then I will compile it.
Dang, you know what? Actually, I do know how to make lasagna. I made Mexican lasagna last night. But that is totally
Okay.
not where we're going with this because we're not talking about food.
I'm hungry. So Perry
Goes through the phone and Perry's like, got this stuff. And he goes to Beth's house.
Yes.
No, you don't. So, you know, he walks in there. He's like, I got the alarm code because my chick is an idiot and had her best friend's info in there. So he types it in and he's walking around and he turns on music and he starts dancing.
The
It was like
typical creepy montage.
Yeah, it was-
Stripping her clothes, putting her perfume on.
laid in her bed.
Yeah.
In
Put her
fetus
perfume
position.
on.
And
Let's go back to when
sniffed.
Teresa said put the perfume on. That is like so.
Yeah.
Blah.
It was a weird reaction. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be when he went into her house. I thought he was going to be picking at stuff, and I know he was looking at a little bit of stuff, but the way he was romanticizing in her house,
Yeah.
Yes.
that caught me off guard. I was like,
And-
He was like there to hang.
Yeah.
And
It
that
was
box
so
he
weird.
got, there's a box he took
With the teddy bear.
with the teddy bear and a locket and a picture. And I just think like now that is so invasive.
Oh, he took something?
No, but I mean he took the box and he really went through her things.
Oh, yeah,
like he
yeah, I
really
know.
invaded her space.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like I can handle you. No, I can't really handle anyone doing anything like that in my house.
Well, it made me question Perry's intentions. At
Yeah.
first, I was like, does he want to take her down on the force? But then it seemed, in a weird way, that he cared about Beth and really wanted to know her backstory. So what do you guys think his intentions are now?
I don't think no. I think his intentions are sick and twisted, and he wants to. I think he has like the hots for her, but he wants to ruin her.
I don't know that he has the hots for her personally. I think it's just the ruining her part.
I'm sorry, you don't have the hots for me, and you went and sniffed my clothes in my closet, and you laid in my bed, and you smiled.
But that's all part of his thing, though.
Well,
I think,
remember
with
the
the stalking.
first victim that he stalked? He was obsessed with him.
Right.
And I think he's kind of following that same parallel right
But do you
now.
think he just wants to take her down or expose her? Or maybe he wants to make her feel how she made him feel.
I think
Humiliate
that's
her.
what it is. Yeah, I think that's what it
threaten and
is.
humiliate.
I think this sounds a lot like predictions, and we're not there yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, guys. Not yet. Or are we? No.
We'll get into it.
We will
later.
soon. So he really learns a lot of more personal things about her that I feel things that she doesn't want people to know about her, obviously.
Yeah.
And you kind of see why she wants to keep that her personal life and why she has the right to keep that to herself. So I fear like the friend that she has and how like Perry's really taking advantage of that relationship, and then they cut into him calling her the friend to say like, oh, she's like, oh, I have to cancel on you, Beth needs me. And he's like, oh, okay, no problem. And then he's just lurking at the bus stop across the street and watching them.
Yeah.
And that was so creepy.
Not okay.
Not cool, Paris. Not cool. But you
your
guys
shirt
think
on,
he's
too.
hot.
But shirtless Perry is
Keep
cool.
your shirt on, Perry. Just
Hashtag
saying.
shirtless Perry.
Just saying.
And then other relationships that we see Beth and Jack. Jack he's interested now, I think, in knowing.
What her backstory
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
And
I think he was always interested. Now he's pushing it. He really wants to know.
And he's getting clued
researching.
in, especially with her getting that note. And then also her reaction when she saw the sisters reunite.
right. Definitely. And I think that you really see how like Jack's like advised like stay away. Like she obviously has like some personal trauma that's extreme. That's why she acts the way she does. But like that's that much. Why need to know more? And he's like, yeah, you're right. Then it cuts to him Googling and looking into her more. So now it's almost like she's got two stalkers.
But that's not her real name, so
Right.
Oh,
He's not gonna
right.
find
That's
that
why he's not
much.
gonna
But he's gonna keep trying. But and that's what's interesting is now he's kind of stalking her.
I feel like she has 3 stalkers.
Yeah, she's stalking her. He's stalking her.
She's-
Yeah.
Wow,
He's stalking her, Perry stalking her, and then
That
whoever
red
this
person
patient
is. This
is.
patient
Yeah,
is that.
did she say Bob?
Bob.
Bob,
yeah,
when she was talking to her
yes.
friend.
That's his name.
Bob. Ostensibly, that's his name. Bob.
Of course.
normal names. This
Yeah,
episode.
surprising.
Yeah, so I think it was
Bob,
interesting.
Nancy.
The sister relationship makes sense, you know, because it opens up about Beth and her sister. And so you see her opening up about that, and you see her cry to her friend. So you really see this emotional side. So I like the way like they're taking away these layers of Beth, but it's slowly, so it's not too quickly. Because at first we were like, hurry up, let us get to know. But now they're starting to give us that. And I like that.
Right. She was saying that she was thinking about her sister during that reunion
Right.
and how she hasn't thought about her, and she liked that she hadn't thought about her, and she kind of felt guilty about it.
I love it. Good episode. So
It was a good episode.
can we tap into some predictions now?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, there goes Jane with the
Your
dance.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Anastacia, what are your predictions?
I said my prediction already.
Is that
Perry.
you did.
I
Any
think
other
that
ones?
Perry, I wondered how long this relationship or this obsession would carry out. I think it's probably going to carry out through the end of the season. I think there'll be a big shebang with Perry at the end.
I
Yeah.
think a big shebang with Perry at the end is probably something that's going to happen. I think next week we're going to see paths cross a little bit. I think that we're going to see Perry either leak a little information to his supposed lover that he's going after Beth, or Beth might notice something's fishy with her friend's relationship with Perry. I think we're going to see a little bit of the paths cross in that. And as usual, Ben is the informant.
You're committed to
Perry.
that.
I'm committing to it.
I think that she's going to realize that somebody's stalking her, because if you notice, there was that one scene where she saw that her perfume wasn't in place, and she took a mental note. So I think that Perry's going to go back into her house again, and she's going to see something. And just like when she's noticed that Perry was behind her, was like in the same space as her, like she's always one step ahead. So I don't think it's gonna. I think he's gonna go back to her house, and I think she's gonna catch him or something.
But
Yeah.
right now she's thinking it's Bob. I don't
Yeah.
think she suspects Perry at all.
Agreed.
It's interesting that, like you said, her taking the mental notes of things like that, because I feel like if you haven't been stalked before, you don't necessarily notice all of those things.
Yeah.
As much as we think that we would like to notice all those things, I don't know if we do if you don't have some
wouldn't.
kind of history.
No, you don't.
know?
But I think that she's gonna say, okay, wait, my perfume wasn't here. And then if she notices something else, and she knows that this
Right,
guy
she-
Bob, she knows that he's in the asylum or wherever he's supposed to be. He's still locked up. Then she knows that it's somebody new. And then she's gonna realize, okay, so then that guy did not, because you remember when she got that sorry for your loss, and then that newspaper clipping of like her and her
Yeah,
sister,
yeah.
and you know, so that to me was like a first sign. You know, so the second one is like, okay. And I think if something else happens, she's gonna know somebody's stalking her, and I wouldn't be surprised if she caught Perry before he got to her.
Yeah.
I think Jack's gonna launch into this like full investigation on Beth, and
Definitely.
gonna learn, you know, about who this potential stalker could be. And I predicted this earlier, that he was gonna be the one to kind of save her from the stalker when they are confronted.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Teresa, I hope your prediction.
Winning her
I
over,
like
and then they
that
fall in
one.
love, and they live happily.
Oh, then they have little
In
Maggie
real life
Q
and on the
babies.
show.
I know. And then and then Jack gets partial custody of his son.
And then they have a cute mixed baby.
Oh my god, that would be so adorable.
That's true. That's true.
What about news and gossip? Anybody got anything?
I have a little tidbit.
Go on.
So Sad Shore, the fictional show, was shot behind this. Oh, it was shot on the WB backlot using crew for the camera.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You always have
nice.
the best little tidbits, Teresa.
I have a few little comments from YouTube from the episode last week. Jan Van Ness said that loved the after show. So nice of Mariana to visit. Again, thank you. to Mariana Clavino for visiting last week.
Thank you.
If you guys want to watch that episode, it was a great one. We did a little interview at the end. Please do that. We have another comment from JCCAOL, who comments regularly. Thank you.
Hey.
This was a good episode, but it was pretty easy, in my opinion, to find out who the woman who was being victimized was. Okay. All right. And we have one from Joseph Boza that said last week's case didn't really scare him.
Oh.
Did not really scare him.
Okay.
Which, okay.
I want you to let us know, though, I wonder if he thinks this one.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
Let us know if you think this one was
Absolutely.
scarier, or is the scary meter just going down for you? Like, let us know.
And this one I'm just going to read because it'll make us feel really nice. Hawkins Olson says, so refreshing to come here weekly and hear each of your insights on the episode. Thank you.
That means a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
Keep it coming,
It's just
please.
so sweet.
Jade's gonna bake you lasagna.
I'm gonna make Mexican lasagna.
Oh, I have one more.
Oh.
So I decided to stalk our favorite stalker, Perry. We talk about him all the time. We haven't even addressed what his real name is.
Okay.
And it's
Were you like Google image searching Perry nude or something?
I was Googling shirtless Perry.
Shirtless Perry lifting kale.
But his name is Eric Stocklin, and his Instagram is @eStocklin. He's not only an actor, but he's a composer. And he recently graduated from the Southern Connecticut State University.
See, Teresa.
Wow.
Like him even more.
Impressive, but
Eric,
not
if you're watching, we want you to come on to our show.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
I'm impressed.
Teresa and I want you to come
Yes.
on to the show. Shirtless.
Team Perry wants you to
Shirtless,
come on.
you can wear your shirt. It's fine. It's totally fine.
You
Don't you
have to-
fret.
Yeah, clothes are welcome.
Or maybe
here.
like a half shirt, like a crop top, just so that way we can make it like
Yeah.
fair.
I'll give you my passcode.
I know. That's a good one.
Anastacia will give you the passcode to her phone if you come
Here's the
visit.
security code to my house.
Yeah.
Come on in.
The last part of my social and the 3 digits in the
all
back of
yours,
my credit
Perry.
card. That's how badly we want you to come.
Man,
Yeah.
that's commitment.
Is that?
Yeah.
Why, thank you.
My goodness. All right.
Okay, well,
that it?
I think that's it. I know. Well, it's almost kind of it because we didn't say where they can find us on social media. You can find me on Instagram, Jade's World.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram @Teresa Jane.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram @StayClassyAnna with 2 N's.
That's a good username. You can find me at Instagram and Twitter @TheOnlyCamshaft.
All right, guys. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Stalk you
From
later.
executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.